What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on Proven Power Cycles. For those who don't know me, my name is Eric. I'm the tuner here at Proven Power Cycles. Today we have another 2023 ZX10RR. Alright guys, so for this episode we're going to keep it pretty short and sweet. The mod list on this bike are as follows. It has a full spark exhaust system. It's full titanium system. He's got an EK3D chain along with the superlite sprockets, 520 conversion, and it looks like they got titanium sprocket nuts, as well as a Sprint PO8 air filter. So other than that, the bike looks to be pretty stock. It's got just a couple of miles. It doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Let's see. 620 miles. We did just perform an oil change, and luckily, when the customer came in, I was able to sit there with him, and I said, oh boy, look at that. So as we looked at the bike, the chain adjusters. So basically, the chain adjusters go right in there, right before the axle. You can kind of see the head of the bolt here. Right there. So there's a bolt and then there's a nut that goes up against the swing arm. The nut on both sides weren't even tightened, like they weren't even hand tightened, nothing. They were actually off the threads by about 4. So long story short, luckily they did have a cotter pin in the axle, but all in all, if they didn't tighten that axle all the way, this could have shifted back and forth and wobbled basically. So, and he could have had a really bad day, to be honest with you. So I might go ahead and actually tighten that up just a smidge more. It's a little on the loose side, but no matter what, guys, we usually do this when it's on the dyno anyway. I'll make a couple of passes on it. This isn't so bad to where it's gonna like fall off the bike or anything crazy. We've seen a lot worse, but I will tighten this up a little bit, get it back within spec, and before we send him on his way. So what we'll end up doing is we'll baseline it and stuff like that. After we baseline it, I'll go through, I'll tighten it all up, and then we'll go through and through the motion. So it's not gonna change the horsepower numbers. We've tested that before, but I'm still gonna do that. This is still something that we do. We still provide this service with the ECU flashing and dyno tuning process. So that way when he leaves, he'll have a nice clean chain, freshly lubed, and clean off all the sprocket, all this gunk on the sprocket. We'll clean all that off as well, and the chain will be in adjustment. So you kind of get a little touch up with the dyno tuning here. Lewis also got done with the oil change. We're gonna check that real quick, and yep, we are perfectly within spec. The only thing left to do now is go ahead and fire this bike up, and let's get it running and see what she does, guys. Here we go. So we're working on the last little bit now. We ran about 3 or 4 maps in it. So we're just gonna go ahead and check to see how everything looks. And yeah, see what kind of power it wants to produce. But I gotta tell you, it's been doing a lot better than I was expecting it to do, honestly, because I started noticing some things about the exhaust system. And not only that, but I already had a flash on this bike. Now I don't know who flashed it, but it did have a flash on it, and we're gonna compare those numbers compared to, it looks like a mail-in flash, I'll be honest with you. The way the mapping looks, it doesn't look like anybody actually custom tuned this. It looks like a generic mail-in ECU flash that I see on a lot of these bikes. So we'll go over the numbers and we'll show you guys how much power and what you're actually leaving on the table when you just do a mail-in flash versus getting this custom tune, okay? So let's go ahead and fire this thing back up and make some noise. Alright guys, so after we got done running that RR, like I said, it definitely had a mail-in flash on the bike already previously when it came in. Not really sure who flashed it before, but it was some sort of mail-in flash, and it just kind of goes to show you what a generic ECU flash does compared to a full ECU flash and an ECU flash and a full dyno tune. So a custom tune will always be better. All right, I don't care. It is going to be extremely rare, less than a 1% chance that you're going to get a mail-in flash that'll be just as powerful as an actual custom dyno tuned bike. You know, very rarely. So, and this is another case in point of that. Honestly, it really is. So we ran the bike a handful of times in the beginning, and air fuel was really bad. I mean, it wasn't even close. Customer even thought that the bike wasn't flashed because of how it drove. He's like, I don't think it's been flashed. When I asked him about it, I said, has it been tuned? Because you got some goodies on this bike. And he said, nah, I don't think so, man, because it still doesn't feel too strong up top, and it still has hesitations and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like it hasn't been tuned before. But lo and behold, it has been flashed. So look up here. It does not fall on its face like a typical ZX10 R or RR for that matter. It literally carries to the end of the power band. But he only made 174 wheel with 73 pound-foot of torque. Not very strong. So as we look down here though, we have a huge lean spot. I mean, massive lean spot that goes all the way until about 9,500 RPM, and then it goes pretty rich, and then it goes lean just a hair, and then it goes pig rich up top. Dumps fuel in up top. So again, not the best tune, but again, it's a mail-in flash. So what are you gonna do, right? So now he's ending at 187 wheel, and that number should be higher, and I'll show you why it's not. Okay, it's part of his exhaust. It's part of the design that this Spark exhaust system is. 80 pound-foot of torque in the final. But look at the gains, they're absolutely massive everywhere, and that's just because we got everything dialed in. Once that bike is running healthy and it's chugging along, it's gonna make power smoother throughout the whole entire RPM band. So the better power it makes down low going into mid-range, it's gonna make better. It's just gonna keep amplifying that the further down the line it goes. So, and the closer to dialed in it goes. Now, at the end, we did have this little lean spot right here and right here at 10.5 and at 9.5. So we went back, we added a few percentage points of fuel right here, but again, it's not really worth it to go ahead and just beat on the bike just to prove that, you know, you're pulling out or pulling down 4 or 5% of fuel. So it's not the end of the world. We touched it up before the guy left. Other than that, this is pretty damn smooth. The rest of the power curve looks killer. Very happy with this tune, very, very happy. He's going to be blown away compared to the differences, I can promise you that. So when you look down here, you're at a 15.2. This is probably a 16 over here at that 7K mark. So yeah, you're almost at 16.0 air fuel down low. That is gonna make for a horrendous power band. I mean, that's gonna give you that hesitation, that lack of throttle, all the crappy things. So honestly, I'm really happy that he came and got it retuned, because it really needed it. So all right, guys, we really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the support. If you could, drop a comment down below. Tell us if you learned something today. Tell us what you think about the ZX10RR platform. Personally, I'm a little 50-50 on them, to be honest with you. They don't really make too much more power than the ZX10Rs do. In fact, they make identical power to the ZX10Rs. So you get the titanium rod, you get to, you know, wind it out a little bit later on in the power band, but ultimately, you know, if you go through with all the mods, maybe it's worth it. You know, I really want to see one all modded out. We haven't had one yet, or actually it's been a while. The last one we did was in 2019, and that one was all modded out and it made really good power, but we haven't gotten our hands on another one that'll really let us get creative with it and go deep into it. So we think we can make some killer power on these bikes if we got our hands on someone that's willing to do that. But anyway, yeah, tell us down below. If you guys could subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this where we go in depth with all this stuff and we show you the graphs and the power bands and kind of what we do and show you guys the differences on how they came and how they left, etc., etc. We got racing videos coming out. We got build videos coming out. You guys name it, we're gonna go over it and show you guys what all we're doing. So, but again, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, and see you on another episode.